Hello, welcome to this update for the severe weather. Let's see what's happening, because we still have those heavy rains in the southeast, and the marginal risk today for Sunday, May 11th, and still they added this light risk now for spots of Montana and Idaho, spots of Wyoming too, and this marginal risk. So let's see here. Also, happy Mother's Day for everyone out there, for all the mothers. And let's see what they say here. Scattered severe gusts are possible across the northwest from mid-afternoon into the evening. Isolated severe thunderstorms also possible across the southeast today and tonight. So we do have a small tornado threat over Georgia, spots in northern Florida, Alabama, South Carolina, and also be careful there. There's this wind threat, the 15% in Montana and Idaho, Wyoming, so be careful. Those areas in the 5% as well. There's a 5% in the southeast for some damaging winds too. There's hail, two areas in the northwest, spots in Montana and Idaho into Wyoming, and also further north in Montana and Idaho into Washington. So be careful. There's two areas the southeast as well, Florida into Georgia, South Carolina, and Mississippi and Alabama. So be careful. Some hail too. And there's here like the HER. Let's see if it shows something interesting. There's the updraft helicity for those storms, shows over Georgia, spots South Carolina, northern Florida, some stronger cells. Nothing too crazy today, but be careful. Some of those storms in Montana, Wyoming too, and Idaho, those areas, the tornado threat is very small, but let's just see if there's something. So here, for example, this evening, that shows some specks in the southeast, in Georgia, spots of Florida, but like very little, nothing too crazy. Slightly earlier in the afternoon, there were some sneaky storms in the Gulf, especially there in the Gulf. But over Florida, it doesn't show as much. But there's that low tornado threat, so better just watch. And let's see later if it shows something. Not really, but southern Georgia, north central Florida, there are some small tornado parameters, so nothing crazy, but just watch those areas. Let's see the HER itself, if it shows something interesting. So here there's like the storms. So first the southeast, if I can find North America here. So good, shows those storms. There's spots of South Carolina, Georgia, some stronger storms in the Gulf, especially there in the Gulf, some very strong storms there in the water. So be aware if there are any boats there, because those ones might be strong. And then shows later in the afternoon, southern Georgia, northern Florida, some stronger cells, and that might be the main region for the most severe storms, I think. Shows more tonight into Monday, more rain spots southern Florida too, and those storms continue there. So be careful, central into southern Florida. So stay safe. Some Mississippi and Alabama, some storms, some gusty winds too. So you never know. Be careful. Now for the northwest, shows like some storms this afternoon in Montana. Nothing crazy, but that shows some in Wyoming, northwestern Wyoming, into central Montana, and some more rain in Idaho tomorrow. And some air shows over southern Idaho, like southeastern Idaho, some more storms, maybe later into tonight or tomorrow, northern Idaho, more rain as well. So be careful those areas. And later, there's this rain over Washington, Oregon, Northern California, because that low pressure system that will bring those below average temperatures and everything. Spots of Northern California and Oregon, more rain into Monday tomorrow, so be aware too. And here does show like Cape, especially Florida and Georgia, some higher Cape spots of South Carolina, Mississippi too. So be aware, especially those storms in Florida. But does show some Cape Montana too, especially like some specific spots, southern Montana might get some more instability. So be careful. There might be some sneaky storms this evening, especially like early this afternoon. So stay safe in those areas. There's like day two, so I think this is for Monday tomorrow. There's still this marginal risk across most of Florida, spots of South Carolina, into Georgia and Alabama, and also southernmost North Carolina and Tennessee. So does show as a wind threat spots of Florida to North Carolina and Georgia, South Carolina. So be aware. Hail shows more into Georgia and Mississippi, some hail probabilities. And tornado threat, there's this 2% tornado threat, goes all the way from central Florida to southern North Carolina. So be careful. Scared strong to severe storms may impact parts of the southeast on Monday, particular corridor across Florida Peninsula into South Carolina Piedmont, where the strongest activity may pose a risk for producing a couple of tornadoes locally, strong surface winds. So they did mention a couple of tornadoes possible, so be careful in those areas tomorrow. You never know. There's here like just some general storms for Tuesday, nothing crazy. So be aware, but we might get something crazier later for day 5. So let's see if it loads here because my internet is absolutely ridiculous here, day 6. So that showed this 15% already spots of Illinois, practically all of Illinois, Missouri to Indiana, Michigan, spots of Wisconsin into Iowa. So this I think it's for Thursday, May 6th. May 6th, no, day 6, May 16th. So May 15th, yeah, Thursday, May 15th until Friday. So there's this 15%, and we have some indications of it might be stronger because of the moisture and everything. So let's just see here. A mid-range guidance indicates that gently amplified speed mid-level upper flow persists to the mid-latitude Pacific trough for North America next week. It appears that this will include at least a couple significant troughs digging inland of the U.S. Pacific coast. The first may right be in progress with the developing eastward across the Intermountain West early in this period, Tuesday, before progressing across the Rockies and Great Plains, Mississippi Valley through the middle portion next week. This may be followed by another significant trough digging inland the Pacific by early next weekend. So this is the first one that's coming in now in the Pacific that I showed you, those below average temperatures and the strong storms in Montana and everything. But after that, next weekend, we might have more to watch. Still don't have anything here, but we might have more to watch later. So let's see. This is the GFS for Thursday. Shows like this trough there. Doesn't show anything that crazy, but does show some stronger winds. And there's especially the European, this moisture has some 60s dew points as far north as Minnesota for next Thursday afternoon. So especially later in the evening does show some moisture like in the 70s as far as north as Illinois, like 74 dew points in southern Illinois, some 60s as far north as Canada. So there might be a lot of moisture from this in the warm sector and some stronger winds too. Let's see if the European has anything interesting. It does have slightly stronger than the GFS, those winds aloft, but in terms of Cape, let's see if he has here, like, he doesn't have, but we can check here because you have to pay there. So here, show like Thursday evening, it does have Wisconsin like even 2,000 joules per kilogram. Illinois is like above 5,000 joules per kilogram. There might be very insane. Indiana shows 4,000, Michigan to 1,000, and some Cape in Minnesota too, in Iowa. So be careful in those areas. It has the low pressure itself further in North Dakota and the storms in Iowa and Minnesota. So for now, it doesn't show the storms, the main 15% area. It shows the storms further north, but this might change still. You never know. But it does show some snow in the Rockies at the same time. Thursday, this goes and still shows some storms further south next weekend and into like the week after. So be aware. We'll keep watching and stay safe. Let's see here if there's something else. So today, Sunday, the 11th, shows this system in Atlantic Canada, especially in Labrador, in Quebec, some heavier snow there until like Tuesday. So be careful too. There's northwestern, just northern Canada, Nunavut, some snow, spots of Yukon, northwestern territories, some snow too. And then there shows some freezing rain Tuesday, possibly Manitoba, and some snow, so be careful too. And still by Thursday, spots of Nunavut, northwestern territories, some snow, and like into British Columbia, probably next Thursday, Yukon as well. Does show this freezing rain possibly next Friday, the 16th, spots of Manitoba. The GFS has a similar thing as well. So better watch this system for some rain, snow, storms, and everything. So be careful. Those areas still shows here like for the excessive rainfall, still a slight risk until 12 safe into Florida and Alabama. Day 1 shows this big slight risk, excessive rainfall through Florida, Georgia, spots of North, South Carolina, and into Mississippi as well. So be careful, some heavy rain. There's for Monday, even bigger, it goes all the way from southern Florida to West Virginia, and this marginal risk. There's for Tuesday, still shows in Virginia, North Carolina, and this marginal risk around it. And day 4 in the north, and day 5 in the north, so be careful. These storms, day 1 through 7, still shows close to 5 inches in North Carolina and more than 4 inches spots of Florida and Georgia and South Carolina. So be careful in those areas. And those storms in the north as well already shows some heavy rain, some spots. And here the hazards does show as well, like the heavy rain in the east, southeast, and also in the mid-Atlantic, and some hazardous heat already in southern Texas, and as far north as Minnesota, some hazardous heat threat. So be careful there as well. And for those temperatures, shows like today for Sunday as high as 101 in North Dakota. That's like a very abnormal heat wave that far north. But just be careful in those areas. Some 90s in South Dakota too, Minnesota, spots of Nebraska, and shows like 105 Southern California, spots of Arizona 103, and some 90s as well. So be careful. Some A is in Florida, southern Texas, and spots of Virginia, West Virginia too. There's during the night, alright, some 30s in northern Michigan, and in the Rockies and Cascades, still colder. But the show is still to 102 spots of North Dakota by Monday afternoon tomorrow, and some high 90s in southern Texas, so to 100 in Arizona as well, Southern California. So be careful. That heat wave further north shows day 2 Monday morning, because here the order is weird, shows before Monday afternoon and after that for Monday morning. But let's see here, shows like still some 30s, the Cascades, Sierra Nevada, and the Rockies, spots of the northeast, some 30s too, so slightly colder. Now Tuesday afternoon, it already shows all the way to 103 in Texas, some 90s in the north still, some 80s in the southeast, And let's just see it closer here because it might get very scorching further in southern Texas to 107. I bet even to like 108, 109 further near the Mexico border. So be careful next week. Might be very, very hot in Texas. But this is during the day. Even during the day shows some 30s in the Sierra Nevada, so slightly colder there. Tuesday morning shows some 20s, 30s, the mountains, some teens in the Sierra Nevada, so be careful. Day 4 does show still 107 in Texas, 104, so really be careful. Shows some 90s, some 80s spots of the plains, and some 80s in the southeast as well. So just checking here again, especially for this Wednesday afternoon, shows 110 in Texas, might be even more than that. So please be careful. And this will still change. It might change. Sometimes it shows weird things, but I think that's true. So shows some 30s as well in the mountains still. So beware. It still shows those core temperatures in the mountains by Wednesday morning, especially in the west and the Rockies. So be careful. There's day 5, a little bit better, but still 110 spots of southern Texas. Sesame is 90, scattered in central, south, the Midwest. Still shows Thursday morning through some core temperatures in the Rockies, some 30s, 20s, and now by Friday afternoon, still to like 105 or something southern Texas, some 90s in the south, southeast, in the southwest. And still by Friday morning, some 30s in the mountains, 20s depending on the elevation, and still shows by Saturday afternoon some 100s in Texas and some 90s good portion of the south. So be careful. Those areas that show strong winds today, spots of the plains, northern plains. In the forest to like close to 50 mile per gust. In the Sierra Nevada shows even to like 60 plus mile per gust in the higher mountains and spots of Nevada too, so be careful. Shows snow starting next 2 days in the Cascades, Northern California, Washington, and Oregon, even in Idaho. So be careful there too. And just for the other things here, there's this critical fire threat, spots of spots in North Dakota, South Dakota, into Nebraska, and Iowa, Minnesota today for Sunday. So be careful. The elevated as well goes all the way from Kansas to Minnesota. So stay safe there. Be careful. Don't burn anything. There's day 2 still show spots of New Mexico and Arizona, and the northern plains some elevated. So be careful in those areas. And here for like some snow next 5 days, the European does show more in the Rockies, those areas to like, let's see, especially spots of Montana into Wyoming, even to like 21 inches, some 11 inches, 8 inches, 4 inches, more into California, 1 inch to 5 inches, some in central Utah, 2 inches, northern Utah just 5 inches. So be careful. Some snow into Washington, Montana, even shows a finger or two in South Dakota, but the GFS doesn't. Just in Minnesota, the GFS has, in Wyoming. So be careful. The icon has more in the Rockies there, and does have the tiny dot in South Dakota. So be careful. Those areas does have rain, especially the European showing some heavy rain, or even to like 5 inches in North Dakota next 5 days. The GFS has just less than an inch, and the icon's like less than an inch in that same spot. But the icon's more than 3 inches in Montana, the European just 1 inch there, but further south some 3 inches. So I guess we will see what happens, but still shows in South Carolina, Georgia, to 4 inches, and spots in southern Florida, even to 4 inches. The icon kind of in the Appalachians, be careful, and the GFS more to North Carolina. So be careful. In those areas, there's still like some gusty winds this afternoon. South Dakota, spots in Nebraska, into North Dakota, even to like 45 mile per hour gusts. Shows spots of Utah into Nevada, there is some 51 mile per hour gusts, 56 to 48 spots of Idaho, so some stronger winds in Oregon. So stay safe. Sunday, this goes shows Monday spots of the west in Nevada to 50, 40 mile per hour gusts. There's the GFS much weaker, but does show a thing or two more there. So Monday, Tuesday still shows stronger winds. Even New Mexico to like 63, some 55 more spots there. The GFS does have as well a little bit. So this goes Tuesday, shows still Thursday, not Thursday, Wednesday the 14th, northern Mexico as well, spots of New Mexico, Colorado. So this goes, and potentially by Thursday that low pressure there with the severe weather. So be careful those areas, and still shows in Atlanta, Canada now. There's some strong gusts today, Sunday. Spots of New Brunswick, Quebec into Labrador. This goes even into Maine in the US, some strong gusts. So this goes Sunday, still in Newfoundland, some strong gusts by Monday, and the coastal Labrador. So stay safe. This goes and kind of strong until Wednesday. This goes Wednesday, Thursdays, sometimes a strong gust or two, some specific spots, but nothing that crazy, except for like northern Quebec and Labrador next Friday, and into southern Saskatchewan and Manitoba because that low pressure system there later. But we'll keep watching. So be careful. There's still like snow shows from now until next Friday. In Yukon shows some more. Northwestern Territories even to like 27 to 30 centimeters. Even some spots near Nunavut to 45 centimeters. Northwestern Territories. So be careful. More in Alberta, British Columbia, in the mountains still. More southern British Columbia, western areas in the Pacific. So be aware, northern British Columbia some more, and into northern Quebec still shows, even northern Manitoba more than 31 centimeters. Into Labrador shows even to like 54 centimeters in a few spots. Eastern Quebec into Newfoundland. So be careful, even northern Nova Scotia, a thing or two, and yeah, long range does shows a thing or two in other areas. There's the GFS. It has this going all the way down to southern Manitoba. The GFS, the GFS is even more in Alberta, to 71 centimeters, and northwestern territories. The icon has just in northern Manitoba. There's a tiny thing in southern Saskatchewan and more across the north. So be careful in those areas. In terms of rain, might be some heavy rain in southern Manitoba and Saskatchewan later next week because that's low pressure system. But does show some rain still, spots to the east, southern Ontario, some storms, and yeah, in other spots. So be careful in those areas. There's still those temperatures are like colder in northern Canada, spots of some minus 18, even some minus 10, more spots to like some minus 6, still cold on the west, and on the northeast still colder. But you know that heat wave, the northern US, that's also like into southern Manitoba and Saskatchewan, even to 34 degrees and 32 degrees, spots of southern Manitoba. So be careful. There's still like slightly milder spots of Quebec into Alberta. This goes still kind of colder during the night, spots there, but still milder further south. But northern Canada still that cold, so be careful. Shows more further northeastern areas, and then still like by Tuesday afternoon shows as far as high as 35, 36 degrees southern Manitoba. So be our southern Saskatchewan into Ontario all the way to 27 to 28, but still cold in the north there. So Tuesday this goes during the night, score temperatures in the west again, especially in the mountains, and more in the north there, still colder in the northeast. but this goal still shows those hard temperatures in Manitoba and into Ontario by Tuesday afternoon. This goes Tuesday, Wednesday, the cold comes down into northern Manitoba again, and in the north, and then shows like Wednesday, Thursday, still warmer by like Wednesday afternoon, spots of Ontario, Quebec, and into southern Manitoba, and then this goes Wednesday, Thursday, shows the cold northern Ontario and much of western Canada into the north, and then this does go, but as this cold advances, that front, that low pressure system, you'll get colder behind it. So this goes, and like, yeah, be careful still later into next week. But yeah, be aware in those areas. And northern Mexico into Texas will simply like be boiling next week. So if you are in northern Mexico, like above 46 degrees Celsius, northeastern Mexico next Wednesday. So please be careful there as well. And yeah, stay safe. And still showing like next 5 days more storms northern Bahamas because of the Florida storms and some showers in Cuba, Hispaniola, especially in the eastern Caribbean, showing slightly heavier in some spots there. In Costa Rica, some heavier rains too in Panama, and some in Central America, some storms. Still some in the Yucatan and a finger or two in Mexico, but longer range, it does show a surge of moisture, the European model, long range, but that's kind of far out. There's the GFS. The GFS, the surge of moisture further east, long range, but that's too far. Let's focus on the present here. But be careful in those areas and stay safe.